All right, you guys, what's going on? I'm back. Just got through eating. So, I'm about to shut it down for a couple of hours because I got to get up and be out of here at 6 in the morning, and it won't be no police knocking at my door. Like T once said back in the day, many moons ago, you know. But nevertheless, man, um, wow, what can I say? As media, we try not to get caught up. We try not to let our emotions show. We try to be objective. We try to be fair. And we try not to get emotionally attached to these boxers, whether they give us access or not. And, I'm cool with Team Ortiz, and I text Jermaine Ortiz and I text his uncle. Um, I'll put up the footage later on because, like I said, it's just going. I got a lot of footage, so tomorrow, pretty much, they probably won't be too many videos. There'll probably only be two videos. I'll be talking about Lamar Jackson, winning his second MVP, and then I'll be talking about the Hall of Fame class. And shout out to Andre Johnson and Julius Peppers getting in, and Dwight Freeney, well deserving of being in the Hall of Fame. And Steve Mungo McMichaels finally gets into the Hall of Fame. And oh yeah, Patrick Willis. Me myself, I thought Patrick Willis should have got in on the first ballot, but a lot of people was mad. The powers that be, they were a little bit upset because he prematurely retired. But I'm glad Patrick Willis is in the Hall of Fame where he belongs. But with that being said, man, just watching that fight, this is one of the problems that we all have with boxing and, coming up with our assessment of what we see. At the end of the day, I had Jermaine Ortiz winning that fight. I had it 7-4 and 1 even for Ortiz. You got to ask yourself, who's executing their game plan better? Jermaine Ortiz was hitting Teofimo with counters and combinations all night. For every one solid punch that Teofimo landed, Jermaine Ortiz would land two or three. I'm not going by what the CompuBox numbers was and all that stuff, but if many insiders, except for the people that's cool with Teofimo, most of the media people, I'm not going to say their names. They asked me not to say their names. They thought Ortiz won. Tim Bradley thought Ortiz won. You can make an argument that Jermaine Ortiz should still be undefeated because I thought he did enough to beat Lomachenko, and he definitely did enough to beat Teofimo. And the thing is with Teofimo says outlandish stuff. I heard that he said he wants $20 million to fight Devin Haney, and he wants to fight Terrence Crawford at a catchweight. First of all, Teofimo Lopez only sold 6,206 tickets. I have the numbers, and I will put up the official number. Teofimo Lopez can't sell tickets. So how in the hell he's going to demand $20 million? That's laughable almost. He doesn't have a following. And I know people gonna say, "Oh, well, it was Thursday." Well, okay. Well, how many tickets did he sell for his last fight? Around that much. He sold 4,000 tickets at the Hulu Theater versus Josh Taylor. Before that, versus Sandy Martin in New York City, his home soil, he sold like 7,000 tickets. So all these people that's sitting up here talking about Devin Haney's ticket sales and okay, Devin sold 16,000 his last fight, and in the fight before that, he sold 14,000. The fight before that with Ken Bosas, he sold a decent amount of tickets, and then before that, he sold You know what I'm saying? In the tens. So Devin Haney could sell tickets. You know, and like I said, I got a brief interview with with Senior. Yeah, but I feel you, Vegas Mark. But what about the other fights? What about in New York? It wasn't no Super Bowl then. What about in December, 2020, 2022? Okay, Heisman weekend. So what's his excuse now? He's basically selling the same amount of tickets wherever he go. Keep in mind, he was fighting in a conference room. And 20, I mean, come on, man. Can we stop the madness? Can we stop playing these games? And for him to come out and say he won 20 million to fight Devin Haney, then he really don't want to fight Devin Haney. He really don't want to fight Devin Haney. Like I said, mostly everybody in that arena thought that Ortiz won that fight. They were booing. I did some post-fight interviews. Most people thought that Ortiz won that fight. So, I mean, Damian, I could email you what the email said. They said he sold 6,206 tickets. 6,000. I'm gonna say this again. Let me do like Dr. Umar Johnson. I said he sold 6,206 tickets. I said he sold 6,206 tickets. Once again, 6,206 tickets. That's funny. Maybe T.O. should fight the winner of Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. Well, which I heard I heard is looking good. I heard it's looking good. I heard it's looking good. Tiafimo can't sell no tickets. And by the way, I did a great interview. I had a translator come in and do an interview with Casamayor. Did an interview with him. Had to have somebody translate at first. I did a interview with Coach Bullitt. So you know, at the end of the day, you know, people were saying that Ortiz should have went for the gusto. Okay, I know they say, well, you have to take it from the champ. I understand that, but sometimes what if the champ ain't doing enough? What if I mean, Tiafimo was missing badly. He was out of range most of the fight. And I did not tell you that Tiafimo was going to say, I told a lot of people, I said, watch Tiafimo say that Ortiz was running. The art of boxing is to hit and not get hit. And there were times where Tiafimo was backing up. And then when Ortiz would walk over there and start like teeing off on Tiafimo, then he would try to turn Ortiz. Listen, I know what I saw. Jermaine Ortiz should be undefeated still because, like I said before, he did enough to beat Lomachenko. I thought he won that fight, and I thought that he definitely won this fight. I had it 7-5 for Ortiz when he fought Lomachenko, and I had it 7-4 and 1 even for, Ortiz. You have to understand, boxing is a business. It's a business, and then it's a popularity contest. Tiafimo, I guess, on the internet is in social media is more popular than Jermaine Ortiz. But when it comes to ticket sales, he's not. You know, like I said before, when you watch boxing, you can't always go by who's the popular fighter and go by effective aggression, because if you have aggression and you not landing shit, then how are you winning rounds? 117 to 111. So they had it. So somebody had it 9-3 for. For Lopez. What? 9-3 for 9-3 for Teofimo Lopez. Somebody, I want somebody to clearly tell me that Teofimo won 9 rounds clearly in that fight. You can make an argument at best, because I'm being generous by saying that he won 4 rounds. Because I could have easily had it 9-3 for Ortiz, but I'm saying there was 1 round that was up for grabs, and then there was a swing round that I thought went to Teofimo, but Teofimo got outboxed. He got outboxed. He didn't look confident. He looked worried. He was saying, of course, he started trying to, do what he always does, try to shame us. This is what these fighters always do. They'll get mad if we challenge them, and that's why and y'all have to understand, when we doing these group media interviews, they don't want a guy to sit up there and say, "Hey man, I thought you lost," and all this kind of stuff, because you already know what happens. Them dudes are gonna get, they're gonna get mad, and then they're gonna start talking crazy to you, and then it's just, and then they'll secretly behind the scenes, they'll look at your badge, they'll look at your media badge, and then they'll try to say, "Hey man, don't let this dude in my fights. I don't want to cover my fights anymore because he made," like Tank said, "He made me mad." Okay. The judge that had it 117, 111 for Teofimo, that dude filled out his scorecard. That dude filled out his scorecard as soon as the bell rung. I'm being sarcastic, but at the end of the day, it damn near seemed that way. It didn't seem like he was watching that fight. And I did a live going into the decision, and it was taking way too long. I did like a 6 or 7 minute live before the decision was announced. I already knew what was finna happen. I expected it. I wasn't surprised. I don't know. He might have been. When I heard this, listen, when I heard the scorecards, when I had my phone in my hand, and I heard the dude say, Judge Steve, I think it was Steve Weinfeld, had it 117, 111. And then they didn't let you know. Like, I thought it would be at least a split decision, maybe, in favor of Ortiz, or a draw. And when I said, okay, I already knew. If you listen to my live, I said, all right, I already know. When it was taking so long to tally up them scorecards, I was just like, okay, here it comes. And this is why I keep saying, and they need some drastic changes in boxing. I do feel, and I've said this before, the judges of the fight, they should be mandated to do post-fight interviews as well, especially when you have controversial decisions like this. Tim Bradley said that Ortiz won. And they need to explain to us, how did you come up with that score? How did you come up with that score? They need to be put on the grill, and they need to be questioned like, okay, could you please give us your assessment? How did you come up with that score? I don't know where they went, but I don't know what fight they were. The 117, the 111, I already knew what was going to happen. I said, all right, here it comes. Watch my live when I said, okay, this is a live fight reaction. And I gave my assessment. I said I had Teofimo losing. I had Ortiz 7 rounds, 2-4, and 1 even. but I had him winning at least 7 rounds. You know, when you win 8 rounds to 4, that's considered a dominant. And when you win, you know what I'm saying? When you win 7 rounds to 5, that's what you call decisive. But when you win 9 or 10, when you win 9 rounds, it was a pretty much a blowout. Damian already knew what was finna happen. I kept saying, why is it taking so long? I was counting how many minutes into the live, because usually it shouldn't take no longer than at the most 4 minutes. And when it got past the 5-minute head to the 6-minute mark, that means something is going on. I don't want to say what I think be going on, but something be going on. And then when I heard the judge say 117 to 111, I said, oh boy, here it comes. I mean, my thing is with Teofimo, he trying to force himself on us. And I think to a certain degree, other people is trying to force him on it, but he doesn't have any drawing power. He doesn't have any drawing power, and that's real. No matter what he says and no matter what comes out of his mouth, he doesn't have any drawing power. I just gave you the exact amount of tickets or people in attendance that came to that fight. The Mandalay Bay holds to capacity around, if they want to make it capacity, I think it holds at best standing room only. It could hold around. It could hold around 13,000. It definitely could hold 12. You know what I'm saying? It definitely could hold 12. But for the most part, they try to like make around 11,000 tickets available. 11,000 and some change available. But Teofimo didn't even sell half of the arena out. Oh, I've been saying that Jose Ramirez could probably beat Teofimo, but nobody don't want to see him fight Bud. He talked about allegedly he asked for a catch weight. He has 0. I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say this for the people in the cheap seats. He has 0 chance versus Terrence Crawford. It's a waste of time. Terrence Crawford ain't even gonna entertain the thought of fighting Teofimo Lopez because one, ain't nobody gonna come see that fight. Ain't nobody gonna buy that fight, and ain't nobody gonna be interested in that fight because they already know what's gonna happen to Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo last. I'm gonna keep it 100. Teofimo last, if he's lucky, he lasts 6 rounds with Terrence Crawford, and it may. And I'm being nice by saying that he will last 6 rounds with Terrence Crawford. That's if Terrence Crawford doesn't really like just go off on him. Teofimo gonna get dropped in the first round when he fight Terrence Crawford. He gonna get dropped in the first round. He gonna get dropped again in the second round, and then Bud is just gonna punish him. Bud will sleep Teofimo. What's up? Well, Keyshawn said he'll move up to 140 and fight. He'll move up to 140 and fight Teofimo. Keyshawn, I think, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say this about Keyshawn. I'll save this video for later. It's something good. But Keyshawn, I thought for the most part, I thought he fought very well. I thought he was very dominant. And I love how he was mixing it up with body shots. going upstairs. Them body shots was the difference maker, and the combos. Keyshawn is really improving as a fighter. I mean, when you got Bo Mack as your trainer, I mean, you really Bo Mack and Coach Sal. I mean, at the end of the day, you bound for greatness, and Keyshawn is just scratching the surface. He doesn't have the power that Bud has, but he one of them dudes. He could do damage to you as the fight progresses. You know, he can do damage to you as the fight progresses, and you saw what he did to Pedraza. Had no problem with the stoppage. Wasn't premature. Pedraza was hurt really bad. He was wobbling, and it was just a matter of time. You know, Thomas Taylor. He, as far as referees go, Thomas Taylor is a good referee. You know, he's a good referee. Yeah, Bo Mack is. And I sent the shout out to I saw my guy, Coach Red. Coach Red, love Coach Red, man. Love Coach Red. That's my guy. He was under the weather, so he was under the weather, so I spoke to him and shook his hand and you know, that's my guy, Coach Red. Well, listen. Listen, Hamza. Nobody, listen. Do anybody on this panel think that? Listen, can we? You know what I'm saying? Can we be for real? Do anybody on this stream think that Tiafimo got a snowball's chance in hell against Bud? I'm talking about Bud would have to come in looking like James the Grim Reaper, Roper from the Great White Hype for Tiafimo to even have a chance of beating it, and probably Bud would still whoop his ass. Nah, I mean, To's ring generalship and his boxing IQ, probably, at best is a 6. To don't have no shot versus Devin Haney. Devin Haney will whoop on Tiafimo. I'm talking about Devin will whoop on Tiafimo. And that's just real talk. I know they want me to be politically correct, but at the end of the day, I'll represent that Bay Area. Devin will whoop on Tiafimo. Dude, what are you? Why are you coming on here and? Yeah, you right about that. Here to there, he Devin will whoop on To. He'll whoop on him. He'll whoop on him. But like I said, Bud, and then that $20 million, that's just out of reach. Like I said, once again, who's gonna like for real? Okay, I'm gonna say this again. Who gonna pay for that fight? Who's gonna pay for that? Who's gonna pay for that fight? Devin versus Keyshawn is a more sellable fight than Devin versus Tiafimo. At least that would be an intriguing fight, you know, and that's a fight that can be made. If Keyshawn willing to go up and wait and fight Devin, which I think he would. Keyshawn not scared of nobody. Keyshawn versus Devin would be a great fight, and I think eventually they are gonna lock horns one day. I think eventually Keyshawn and Devin are gonna eventually fight. T.O. ain't Tank. You're not getting no $20 million if you only can sell if you can't even sell 7,000 tickets. You ain't getting no 20 million. You'll be lucky. Listen, and I'm not trying to pocket watch. I'll explain to you how the business of boxing works. You know what I'm saying? You got to be high going up the totem pole. You got to have popularity. You got to have ticket sales. Devin Haney has the ticket sales. He can sell tickets. He can fill up an arena. Whether you paying to see him win or whether you paying to see him lose, Devin can sell. Devin is guaranteed to sell 12 to, you know what I'm saying, 12 to 16,000 tickets. If he would have fought Adrian Broner, which I think they saying that Adrian Broner is still on the cards. If he was to fight Adrian Broner in Atlanta, because that's what they was considering doing, Devin will sell out the State Farm Arena. And then one thing was the State Farm Arena, probably what happened was the State Farm Arena didn't really have any open Saturdays. You know, I think they didn't have any Saturdays open till like May. And I think Devin didn't want to go till May without getting in the ring. But it looked like that they have a date set for April the 20th versus Ryan Garcia. In all likelihood, it'll be in Las Vegas at either the T-Mobile Arena or the MGM Grand. I hope it's at the MGM Grand. I would prefer to go to the MGM Grand versus the T-Mobile Arena. I just do not care for that arena whatsoever. Just don't care for that arena, you know. And then unfortunately, it appears that the UFC will have the first inaugural combat sports event at the Sphere. That's what I've been told, that they have booked the Sphere for sometime in September. We'll just have to see. I have no idea. That might be what Ryan Garcia or Oscar De La Hoya wants. I don't think Ryan, I think that's what they prefer. If it was me, they could go back to the Chase Center. I think it'll be a diverse crowd at the Chase Center, in the Bay Area. Because I think the Chase Center, I think they could sell like 18,000 tickets. I think they could do standard. I think the Chase Center, if Ryan and Devin fight, I think that'll be standing room only. I think that piece will sell out. Oh, that's cool, Mark. Appreciate that, man. You seeing what's available. Yeah, I prefer the MGM Grand. I prefer the MGM Grand over the T-Mobile Arena because one thing about the difference between the T-Mobile Arena versus the MGM Grand Arena. T-Mobile, it's hard to get footage and it's hard to catch people. Where once again, when you do a fight at the Mandalay Bay or you do a fight at the MGM Grand, for the most part, it's really only like two ways into the Mandalay Bay, unless you VIP or something like that, or you just paid like top level, you know what I'm saying, top shelf floor level seats. So it's easy to catch people coming in and out of the Mandalay Bay. And by the way, I got a drop and quick interview. Shout out to Gilly the Kid and Wallow. You know what I'm saying? That's that Philly to Oakland. You know what I'm saying? Gilly know a real one when he see one, though. And shout out to Gilly the Kid. I'll post that later on. So like I said before, I got a lot of footage. I got to do the Super Bowl fan prediction videos. So I got a lot of footage to put up. Mark, I just don't like the T-Mobile, man. I done told you that. I just don't like the T-Mobile arena. I don't like the inside of the arena. It's just like I mean, I told you that arena is built like a toilet bowl. It's literally built like a toilet bowl, high and sunk in deep. It's a compact arena that it is built like a damn Big Mac, and you know how the Big Mac sits high. That's how the T-Mobile is. The lower level is cool, but when you start going up, like bro, it is like, man, when you go to the second level, man, when the jumbotron is lower than the nosebleed seats, that's a problem. I remember when I went there for Andre Ward, Sergey Kovalov too. This is before I was covering fights. Like, man, we moved anyway because we moved anyway. We moved anyway. The security told us we could move because by the time the first bell rung, they basically had sold all the seats that they was gonna sell. So we moved down. Now the other arena, the Michelob Ultra Arena, there's not a bad seat in the house. And the MGM Grand is solid too. Nah, I'm not going to the Super Bowl. I covered, I got my footage from the fans and all that kind of stuff, and I got a couple of interviews and stuff. I, I'm really mad because I lost the Mark Sheridan interview. I thought I got it, but apparently I didn't. But I did get a former NFL player, a very good NFL former wide receiver. Shout out to the dude Stevie Johnson. Shout out to the other guy. I'll post that video. I'll post it tomorrow. Oh man, here we go with this. All right, you guys. Let me end this stream because I got to get some rest. But I'll definitely be back at it tomorrow. So appreciate you guys.